Hello everybody, welcome back to Gelvin Valley for Farming Simulator 15. Wonderful map created by Wild Wes. Just taking a pause here this evening from planting and looking out over the valley. As I look at the time up there, it's almost 9, is that 9 o'clock? Or maybe it's 10 almost. So what am I thinking, 21. Oh, who cares what time it is? And as I think of time, I'm going to start my timer from my friend Atomic 67. Here's my ticking bomb. Oh, it's nice to know how much time I have. It's wonderful to have a friend who gave this to me. I miss him a lot, even as I make these videos. He was very good at them. I am not. Oh, there's my trusty sheep. But anyway, I better get to work or this field is never going to get done. It's just kind of interesting looking at the sky that we have this particular evening. The stars are starting to come out. Here we go. Hopefully we don't run over the sheep. Get her all set. Off we go. Still working here on field number 18. We've covered a huge part of it. We're now getting to the lower portion of the field, and there's quite a side hill that we encounter coming over here. And once we get to harvest, we're going to be giving our little hillside combine a decent workout. Just taking a look around. You know, it's an interesting background over there that makes for that white or yellow edge. I really don't know what that is. You know, here a couple of episodes ago, I installed a new mod, a script that I wrote up for Farm Sim 17 that I adapted to 15 to deal with the distance fog. And what it did is it made clearer everything we see in the distance, so I appreciate the colors. What I don't like so much is looking over there and seeing kind of that funny yellow line on top of the distance scenery. So I'm not sure what is causing that. I guess we could just say that's the remnants of the sunset still blazoning the top of the hill. The only problem being I'm pointed east. So who knows what it is. It's a little annoying, but oh well. There's other parts of the background scenery I really like, you know, such as this field over here. You know, it looks like it just fits so well with the map, although it kind of does appear it's something ready to harvest, and we're nowhere near harvest season, you know, in this particular session that we're in. And that's a fine art, by the way, for those mappers that do it. You know, when you have a play surface that we have that's a certain number of pixels, it's a perfect square. I mean, we all know what it is. Here's the square. What to put on the edge of that to make it look seamless is really a fine art. I know we've talked about it before, and there are some out there that are really good at it, and then there's some others who less skilled in that particular area. And I don't know what skills you say that Wild Wes has. I continue to be enamored with this map. It's just beautiful in its layout, design, and even after 100-some episodes, I'm still thoroughly enjoying working Gelvin Valley and trying to farm. And you know, I even have money in the bank. What can I say? But I'm still just a poor farmer. I gotta work on my farmer speak. You know, the past couple of episodes, I've dragged you through it, talking about public speaking and some of my own fears of it, as I know it's something that a lot of people fear doing. You know, you think of, oh, yeah, see, well, there's something that happens in public speaking. I had a point I was just going to make, and it just slipped my mind. So, who knows what I was going to say. Definitely something unimportant, to be sure. Yeah, I'm kind of pulling a little bit of a hill here, trying to climb up, but I have my differential locks on, four-wheel drive, so it's taking the hill as best it can. This trusty sheep mod, yeah, kind of Marietta Little Land mod, follows you wherever you go, at least when you're out on foot. But kind of has a sheep show up in places you probably wouldn't be seeing a sheep in real life, but oh well. I appreciate the effort of a modder to make a mod such as that. I have no idea how he made it. I almost think the script for it was hidden. Maybe it isn't. I'd have to go look at it, but I kind of think that it is. Which means maybe he knew more about the code than he was supposed to. Because I know I've said it before, for the code that the Giants releases, it's limited. They give you just enough to send someone that knows a little bit about what they're doing with Lua, kind of on a search. It's kind of a black box sort of exercise to figure out what's inside and how to jiggle it just right so you get the kind of outputs you want to have. So anyway, hopefully in this session here, we'll finish with field number 18, and then I think we're done on this side of the valley. We only have 3 fields over here now. We used to have a couple more, but they were smaller, so there is a substantial... Ooh, look at that! Yeah, yeah, this hill is steep enough. It took the planter downhill a little bit, and yeah, I kind of liked that. Generally, it adheres. Boy, as I look at that map, this is incredibly steep. In real life, I mean, I'm guessing that that's probably, well, it's a little bit less now. Back where we started, it's probably a 45% grade, kind of coming up there. Reminds me of some videos I've been watching on YouTube of a man who farms in the Palouse. I think he's a hired hand. But he's been showing some videos of where they do their combining. It's just incredibly steep in a number of places where, just like the little combine, you know, that we use in here, it will level according to the slope, at least up to a certain point. I have a feeling our little combine is going to level and then it's going to tap out, meaning it'll be able to level no further, even on this slope. And I know there's a number of them that he's on where the combine levels as far as it's going to go, and then there's no more. So incredibly steep land, but looking at some of this reminds me of it. And at some point, I know I want to talk a little bit more about the Palouse. Just a beautiful area of agriculture. I've always loved hillside farming for some reason. I don't know, I'm probably just... something's wrong with me in the head, you know. If this is looking across the way at some of the fields we'll be working in over there, there's 4 of them there that are worked up. And maybe it includes that one over there too. Yeah, I think it goes up the hill and then clear up on top. So kind of get a view of the valleys. We start to farm more and more of it. But even as it is, we own just a fraction of it, and that's perfectly all right. It more than keeps us busy. I turned around here, you can kind of see where the cedars slip down the hill just a little bit. Maybe this time I'll try to help it out by crabbing up the hill a little bit. Beyond this, I figured it would be easier to come downhill with all this back and forth. Wow, look at that. Oh my goodness, it's doing it again. Okay, even when I headed uphill a little bit, it still didn't What do I do it? But we got it. Seems like once you're in the position pulling, it'll take you. Yeah, this is very, very steep. I know there's areas of Italy too. I'm not sure what it's called, but they have some incredibly steep land that they farm in there. With wheat and combines in there, specially designed to handle the hills. And with that design needs to come an operator that knows, what they're doing. Uh, just some intestinal fortitude that most of us don't have. Because I know in one of the videos I watched of the Palouse, which is kind of a similar region, where they have really steep hills that they farm on, sometimes they couldn't even keep the combines in the cut. They would just slide down the hill. And if you're in the middle of the hill or up the hill a ways, if you slide a little bit, well, no big deal. But if you're taking the opening round, and at the edge of that round is the lip of a cliff, well, that's not the area that you would appreciate any slippage in your tires or otherwise. So, like I say, I think running a machine in those conditions separates the men from the boys in a hurry. Just like giving a speech, and I know the past couple episodes we've had here have talked about public speaking and the little bit that I do, and I'm really curious to see if any comments come. It's always interesting who you run into in the gaming community. People from all walks of life. I know I've seen it in here before where a police officer has done this. One of the people that I played on a server with was an ex-warden of a jail, or prison rather. He dealt with the worst of the worst, and frankly, a lot of things he didn't even really want to talk about all that much. Maybe he came to farming simulators a way to escape some of that. I think he was retired by that point. And many other disciplines. I only mentioned just two. So maybe someone will come through here and, maybe is better at public speaking or knows how to do it, and will be able to provide some pointers and maybe just to tie up that particular subject, if you will. I maybe have expressed this before, but I know I shared in one of these about my voice condition. I mentioned it again, talking about public speaking. I'm conscious about it, and one of my motivations for trying to record a few YouTube videos, it's no secret. I've never asked in any of these, to like and subscribe and all those YouTube things that you typically hear, because frankly, I don't care. I have a job I go to every day. I'm not doing this trying to even attract hardly an audience, although it is kind of fun to see if anybody watches it or comments. I'll be honest, that is kind of fun. But that isn't my primary motivation, and one of them simply is to have a place to practice using my voice. Maybe that sounds silly, but I have a voice problem, and so a lot of times it means I don't speak when maybe I should, or those kinds of things. So it's kind of useful to me to have a place where, hey, I'm just sitting here in private. I don't care if anybody hears and listens. This isn't something I advertise. I've told precious few people about my channel that it even exists, so it'll hopefully be a long time before anybody I know would ever actually even listen to this. I told my own kids about it, and I don't think they've listened to more than a minute or two of anything I do on here. So, but it gives me opportunity to exercise my voice, which badly needs it. Most of the day, as I go to work, I'm quiet, I'm silent, I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Occasionally I have to talk on the phone. There's a lot of communication that happens over email. And of course, we'll talk at the office. But extended periods of time speaking to exercise, my pipes, I just don't do. I have a feeling if I sat in my office and talked out loud while I was working, I would for sure make some people wonder about me as if they don't already. So that's kind of a motivation. There's nothing like being forced to use your voice to try to hear how it sounds and try to just use it more effectively. And another thing, I'm kind of an introvert, so it isn't my nature to, in spite of what you may hear in here or think, this is no small feat for me to pull off, to talk for half an hour straight. And this forces me to do it, and maybe what a lot of what comes out is blather and nonsense talking. When I prepare for these, I try to have a topic in mind of some kind, and I just sit there for a little bit and say, can I talk about this, whatever it is, for at least half an hour? And I've been trying to do it with varying degrees of success, and anybody listening maybe feels it hasn't been successful at all, but the whole point is I'm trying to practice. I think it's good for me, and like I say, YouTube is good enough for me to have a place to park these videos, and I don't really care if people stop by to listen, so I'll reiterate again, you won't hear things from me like, well, I just said the word like, oh, please like and subscribe. That's not the reason I'm doing it. Now, I do know at the end of my videos there's something in there, and it was made by my dear friend Atomic67. It's kind of the end tag, if you will, that goes kind of at the end of the videos, and I think it has something in there. Like, subscribe, click here, whatever. I suppose I could try to edit what he gave me to take that out of there. But you know what? I really don't want to do that. It was a gift from a friend who gave me way more than I ever deserved. And I know I'm not the only one that he tried to help. I think it was a lot of fun for him when I stepped out of my comfort zone to try to do a little YouTube, and he did everything he could to mentor and try to help me, and made tools, animations, if you will. The animation at the front of the video came from him. The music that was put in there, I don't think he wrote it. It's some free license, something or other. At least I don't think I get copyright strikes on it. So he put all that together. So anyway, but it's not my motivation to just attract a huge audience, because you know what, I'm under no illusions. I know there are kids nowadays that, when they grow up, they want to be a YouTube broadcaster or whatever. Well, sad to say, for a lot of those kids, it's about like trying to say, when I grow up, I want to be a professional athlete. It just isn't going to happen. Not very many people get to play a game or do something like this for a living and actually have people pay them to do it. And I know I've talked about the app before. You go on here or on Twitch, wherever folks could share this kind of thing, and a lot of times there'll be a kid just sitting there playing a game and somehow thinking that a lot of people want to come and just watch what they're doing. Meanwhile, they say nothing. They don't give you anything at all other than just the privilege, the profound privilege of getting to watch them play some silly game. So obviously it takes way more than that, and I'm not here to, I don't mean to denigrate the kids, that isn't my point, but point is it's much harder than it looks to be able to put out good content. And you want to see good content, it ain't going to be here, that's for sure. It'll be over at my good friend Eustace Farmer, as we called him, or as he later was known as Atomic 67. He still has a library of amazing videos that he put together and stories of Farming Simulator and some other games that he was interested in. But I reiterate, the whole point for me is to have a place where I can practice talking, exercising my voice, trying to come up with something to say for half an hour at least. And I figure maybe the practice here will help me in real life. You know, because I know I've mentioned it a number of times, accountants aren't known for being the best salespeople. We aren't gifted with words as a general rule, at least verbally or in interpersonal relations. And maybe it's like any other area of life. Some are going to be better at it than others, and I'm not the best at it. But practice in the hopes that this will help my abilities of small talk, being able to carry a conversation, and some of those kinds of things, you know, which a person needs to be able to do in business a certain amount of time. Why would I choose this venue? Oh, well, I don't know. I guess it's my speed, and it affords time to play a game that I enjoy. So kill two birds with one stone. I know out there are the Toastmaster clubs, and you know, some of those places where you can get a much more direct speaking experience and that kind of thing with others. But I think that's a little beyond me at the moment. And I really don't harbor ambitions of becoming some great public speaker either. It's just to practice a little bit. So probably everybody listens like, enough of this already. To that I would say, well, why do you do what you do? So, and another motivation I have, which again, you know, this probably sounds terribly insulting to anybody who's actually taking the time to listen to me drone on and on. But another motivation I have is for my family. I had a thought here not that long ago, and maybe part of it was, you know, when Atomic 67 passed, and as I recorded this, we're kind of in the middle of August 2023, and he passed, I believe it was the end of January 23. Yeah, it's half a year. I still miss that man a lot. Just, you know, having him to talk to every day, you know, once that just goes away, that's a difference in routine someone needs to get used to. But I digress. But what made that experience point me to another motivation is he has, for his kids, a library of things that were of interest to him, or just a library of speaking. And he had 2 daughters, and so all the videos he created are basically going to be on the internet forever. And, you know, think about yourself. I don't know if you still have your mom or your dad. Do you have something, a recording of them, a tape? You know, back in the old days, a cassette tape or whatever. I have a couple of those, and my father. But I don't have very much at all. And, you know, my father is still living. Maybe what I should do is sit him down and have him read something, prepare a statement for the family. You know, these kinds of things a person needs to be intentional in doing, or they never happen, because the reality is we're all busy, we got stuff to do. And so we never think to take time to make things like this for our family. So through the making of these, I've told any number of stories about my background. I've shared some of my own vulnerabilities just inherent to my personality, if you will, like public speaking or whatever. That someday when I kick the bucket, um, if my kids choose to look it up, there will hopefully be a library sitting there on the internet that they can go to and hear their old man if they wish to. So I mean that's kind of been a motivation too, and it's kind of funny. And this is kind of how it is. You know, when I was their age, I wouldn't have been any different really. Hey, look at that. We just finished our largest field. Fantastico. We're going to have a great crop of barley out of here. I can feel it in my bones. But when I was their age, I don't think I thought about that either. You know, well, I mean, back then YouTube didn't even exist. But I'm trying to think if my dad would have recorded something on YouTube, would I have gone to listen to it? Maybe. I mean, my dad is a storyteller, so maybe I would have taken time to do it. I don't know. But probably not, because most young people are pretty self-centered and in what they have going on in their own lives. Well, I don't mean to just put this on young people. Everybody is self-centered. That's kind of just, oh my goodness, it's taking me all over the road. That's kind of the human condition, right? But especially when we're young and we're seeking out our own things, doing our own stuff, the last thing we think to do is go listen to maybe our parent or whatever. Wow, this is just walked. I'm a terrible driver. Come on. But as we get older and as we observe our parents and we see mortality finally for what it is, as those that are close to us experience health difficulties, pass on, whatever it is, you start grasping at those things and all of a sudden realize, hey, this is for real, this is serious, life is short, and sometimes we don't have very much, you know, in terms of keepsakes or whatever. And I don't know, that's kind of just another motivation. Whether it ultimately means anything to the kids or not, I don't know. We shall see. But maybe there'll be a day someday when they miss their dad and want to hear his voice or something, so they come to hear stupid stories on Gelvin Valley. What do I know? I guess I'm just trying to, you know, justify the reason for why I'm sitting here at, well, what time is it now? 10:30? 10:30 in the evening on a weeknight. Talking to people I'll probably never meet face to face. And spinning a few yarns in here. So I'm curious, do those sound like good enough reasons to you? And, you know, one of my friends who faithfully listens to this, Russell, I've tried a number of times to try to encourage him to record a couple of episodes. I would listen to him. I've even told him, I think, I would listen to him even if he didn't speak. Just because I'm curious, you know, oh, for goodness sakes. Aren't fences supposed to be guardrails for farm machinery coming through? It would probably be nice if coming through here, if you nick the fence like I did just there, they would lay it flat. And then have to pay a fine or something to put it back up. Because I'm sure that's our neighbor's fence, it isn't ours. We're probably none too happy to have a crazed lunatic trying to plant a field in here in the middle of the night. And in this older version of Army Sim, I don't know that it got totally dark at night. I know you could get mods that would darken it up substantially. I think the basic assumption it had for the days was that it would be harvest season like all the time. So, which typically happens in summer. So the days are longer in terms of daylight, nights are short. But then they one up that, and even during the nights, I don't think they had it entirely dark. So maybe to allow the player the option of farming all night long if they wished. And that alarm, ladies and gentlemen, was from what Atomic67 gave me to let me know I've reached another 30 minutes. I've exercised my crummy voice these 30 minutes and managed to keep talking. Probably much to everyone's displeasure. So, I think now on my second round, yeah, this is going to go a whole lot easier. See, I love this map. I mean, here's along a string, and I don't like the yellow band up there. That looks kind of strange. Doesn't seem to have it, I don't think, on the other side. Yeah, I'm still liking this little map, so who knows how many episodes we're going to get out of here. I'm going to farm it till I drop. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by to listen to me ramble on and do my voice practicing and whatever. Hope you have a wonderful day, and whatever silly thing you do in your life to practice that maybe other people can't understand, hope you do it anyhow if it helps you. And otherwise, just have an awesome day, awesome week. I'll see you again on the next one soon. Goodbye.